All right, now we're getting to the point where we're gonna do the gaps of the piston rings. I'm gonna have to do the top and the bottom. I have the chart from Total Seal. I will be spraying up to 150, so I will be doing the bore, and the chart shows the bore. I have a 30 over bore times 0.0055 equals basically 22. So I'm gonna put in all the rings and see what my gap is to start with, and then I will gap each one of them. All 16 of them need to be the same. On the chart it shows top ring and the second ring to be the same gap, so at least I don't have to be confused on which one is what gap it's supposed to be at. So they're both supposed to be at 0.22. All right, guys, let's do the gapping. Let's get to that. All right, guys, it's time to set up the rings. I'm gonna put all 16 rings in and then measure, but this is how I'm gonna measure it. All right, the writing obviously sits, there's writing right here. That's the top. Gonna just squeeze it in, put it in, and then oh, just want to fit. Okay, now I have a old piston that I took out the top ring where I'm 1 inch down. You can see 1 inch down. That way I can just push that ring down to 1 inch, and voila, I'm perfect. I know every piston ring is going to be 1 inch down. Okay, guys, and then I'm going to measure each one at what gap it is, and then that's what we're going to minus to get to 0.22. At this point, it's probably, from what I can see, it's probably maybe like a 10, maybe 12, but we'll see. All right, so we have all the rings in, and they're all going to be in uniform depth. So I'll push them at 1 inch in, and I measured a couple of them. They're at 19th of 1,000. So we're going to do one by one, and we will show how to gap the rings. Okay. Alright. They're at 18th of 1,000. Let's see. Yep. It's a little tight, 18th, but let's say 17. This is an 18 feeler gauge. It's going in with a little force. I would say somewhere between 18 and 17. This one fits in smoothly. Okay, I'm gonna go one by one. It's gonna be a little tedious, but you need to do it or else it won't work right. We'll be back. Alright, here's my filer. It's a hand wound one. Always file one side and make sure it's square, because if it's not square, if you're going to be in an angle this way or that way, that's not good either. Alright, and then after you're done, make sure you deburr it with a filer, sandpaper, however you want to do it. Just make sure you deburr it. Alright, so I'm going to go and count my revolutions. That way, I don't go overboard, but make sure it's square. Okay, guys? Alright, let's see if the head is cleaned up. Alright, you see the head? Yeah, how it's all cleaned up, not half or the other half. That's a good clean, but I can feel the burrs on the bottom. That has to be cleaned up. Okay, guys? So we're gonna go back to the motor and see how much we took off with 10 revolutions. Okay? Alright, so I did the first one and I'm at 22 with the feeler gauge and it fits perfect. So I did 10 revolutions the first time. It didn't get me to 22. I did 10 more, so it was basically 20 revolutions on the grinder, and it got me from 18 to 22. So I'm gonna have to do all 8 of them and then set them up on the pistons, and we'll do the piston ring orientation. You know, how the top ring sits and how the second ring sits and how the oil ring and sits. So stay tuned. Alright, so I figured out approximately how much revolutions to get to 22 thousandths. So make sure it's square. Got one of those hand wound grinders. Okay, as soon as you're done, make sure you deburr it. I feel a little burr on the bottom. I use a sandpaper. You can use whatever you want to use. A filer. 220 grit for me works absolutely perfect. Gone. Okay. Make sure this side doesn't have a burr. Inside either. Only grind one side. That way the other side is perfect. And you know, if you ever mess up the other side, that way you only can work with one side. But make sure you close it and it touches square. It's not on an angle this way or that way. Once it's perfectly square, you're good. Okay? Okay, we're done. All 8 top rings have been gapped at 22. So we've been you know, repetitive, but I did all 8. So what I want to do is, since each piston might be a little off from the other, I'm gonna put each ring, since I did each ring to according piston, I'm gonna put a little mark on each ring. That's 1 dot for piston 1, 2 dots for piston 2, and so on. Okay, that way you know which ring goes to which piston. Okay, because like I said, not all cylinder bores are exactly identical, and you don't want to mix up the rings. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, guys, and then I'm gonna do the same thing for the second groove rings. All right.